If you think rednecks are running around and you're
jerking off, chasing you,
get the
right?
fuck out.
Right, that's no
thing. Laws, motherfucker.
I completely forgot about the jacking off. Somebody was running towards them, jerking off, and they're like, "No, we'll just stay another night."
That didn't happen.
Did I look like a goat?
No.
Man, who can say? Let's get drunk. Like, are you lunatics? You should be in your car
That's
going
right,
down the road.
Right, it's bullshit.
You should be in another state by sunup. He just stares straight-faced into the gaping maw of insanity, and he's like, I could use a Bud Light. Things will clear up, I bet.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Scare Your Friends. I'm joined by all my friends this time. Today we have William, Dylan, Nate, and Dan. What's up, guys?
I'm here. I'm on the next podcast. Not, being taken from my goddamn girlfriend. I'm here, guys. I'm here for the crew. Sorry, I went off.
Welcome
back, Nate.
Nate, is there something you need to get off your chest?
No.
Sounds like you already did, to be honest.
That's all. That's it. That was it.
Anything you can get off your small chest.
Your small concave chest. Oh, how are you tonight, John?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
I'll start with you, Dan. What's been going on with you?
Nothing much. Saw It yesterday with Nathan. I'm not going to go too deep into it. It's not a film podcast, but I really enjoyed it. Highly recommended. You should go see it. It's great.
Dan, I feel like every time you say it's not a film podcast, you secretly wish it was a film podcast.
Yeah, a little bit.
Of course. That's the point. Yeah, no.
A little bit.
That's what, yeah.
I mean, we're reading stories. Close enough.
Ballpark.
We also have William here. He missed the last one, but he's back now.
That's correct. Literally nothing. Just living my sad, empty life. Don't mind me, everybody.
Welcome back, Will.
Thanks, Dylan.
Well, what was the last story? We read those two stories. One of them was good. You didn't really miss much.
No, the flashlight tag game.
One of them was good. The other one was okay.
And the big bleep in the middle of the damn podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We don't talk.
Yeah, let's bring that up.
We don't talk about the big.
Let's bring up the faux pas.
Do I have to make another bleep, Dylan? But I'm not gonna get into it. Dylan, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Just a bunch of bleeps and all.
That's because, oh my god.
Oh boy.
Alright, I'm going to save Nathan for last. Nathan, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic, John.
I don't know. I wasn't even done with the intro, and you just butted in saying, "I'm alive. I'm here."
I'm so excited. I'm back, baby. Dan just said, yeah, we did a mandate.
No. It was two friends going to see a film. Nothing more.
It's purely platonic.
Okay.
We talked about
this. Dan, it's also known as a mandate. Okay, it's a mandate. It was good. I recommend it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it like a Dan.
They share popcorn. Right?
If you play with each other's nipples during the movie, it's a mandate, Dan, and you keep trying to skirt it.
I said no homo.
He did. He actually
said no homo.
He grabbed it and he said no homo.
I said no homo. I looked him dead in the eyes.
Did he say no homo before the pinch and squeeze?
No.
Well then, there's your answer.
Yeah,
no take backs.
No.
Always remember that.
Yeah, I didn't get to do it back to him though too.
It was one-sided then.
All right,
what are we reading?
We always start these and then we start riffing and then it just fucking hits a brick wall.
We get really upset.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to be reading a very popular creepypasta today about the infamous Goatman. I forgot that I'm such an idiot. I wanted to look into this a little bit more, but there's I forgot Dan might know this. The
Mexican thing that eats goats.
Chupacabra?
I think, well, maybe, but there's there's a term for cryptids, I think.
What are you referring to?
Like creatures that aren't the study of creatures that aren't proven to exist.
Cryptozoology.
Cryptozoology.
That's a big
Dylan,
word.
you really want to get that one.
No, see, because I didn't even know when he turned to me, and I had no fucking clue.
You said, I was like,
Jesus Christ, I'm trying to say it. You can say it if you want. You have all the time in the world, buddy.
Cryptozoology.
Oh, he made it.
I didn't even know there was a thing, and you turned to me. That's what I find the funniest.
Well, I just found out in my mythology class. I'm learning about that.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I got to do a report on it.
I did not know that was such a study. So there you go. You learn something new every day, folks.
Right. I think the name for the animals in this study is cryptids. I think. I believe, like the Jersey Devil, I think is a cryptid.
Yeah.
I believe the Goatman is a cryptid.
I'm like the hockey team.
And this is a
You
story.
had an enemy type in XCOM?
Sure.
No, those are chrysalids.
Oh, close enough. There you go.
For those of you who play XCOM 2, chrysalids are the fucking spawn of Satan.
They're in the first one too.
Oh, I know.
They're just as fucking obnoxious.
Oh, they poison your soldiers and they fucking die over time. And if they kill you, they
zombify.
No, they don't zombify you. They turn you into this massive egg that more chrysalids spawn.
Oh yeah, in the first.
It's even
one,
worse.
Zombify you, yeah.
It's even a worse fate.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna be reading. This is a very popular creepypasta story. I read this a really long time ago. I remember liking it, and then I recently.
How old are you, John? Sorry, I didn't.
Nate's really trying to contribute. He's trying to make up for lost time.
Nate, just be yourself, man.
Just be yourself.
Just be yourself.
Just like, comment, and subscribe right now.
Oh, I forgot about that.
You forgot about like, comment, and subscribe.
The only thing I gave content.
Back to the story. Is there a credited author for this, or is it just some rando bullshit?
I believe it's uncredited, although I will check.
Okay.
We have to scroll way down.
John, you really didn't do your homework for this one.
No, Jeez. I did. I just forgot. No, there isn't. No, there's no credit.
Okay.
But if there is a credit, I will edit it in here.
No,
but there's none. So
it is edited slightly from the original thread to improve grammar and flow.
That's fine, because I always feel a little bit bad when I fucking hate the story and there's an author.
Well, it's easier when it's anonymous, because then it's like, with the Pokemon Red story, for example.
Oof.
Like, that was anonymous, so it was easy to be like, hey, fuck you. And your fucking bullshit. But anyway, we're going to be reading a story that's a lot better. As Nate really interrupted me, I'm 23 by the way, but as Nate interrupted me, I read this story a while back.
Why'd you say you were 23?
I am.
Is that when you read the story?
Asked how much...
Is that when you read it?
No, you asked my age.
No, I said, how old are you when you read it?
You said, how old are you?
That was weird. I don't remember.
No. He said, how old are you when you first read it?
Okay, I didn't hear that part. Okay, I don't remember. This is taking a really long time.
Simmer down, Nate.
Oh my god, we're 6.5 minutes.
Simmer down.
I'm in the middle of two men who keep farting. I can't deal with this.
One who touches your nipples profusely.
Oh my god. Alright, look. Thank god there's no webcam. Anyway.
Yet.
Alright.
Oh god.
Okay. Alright, let's refocus. Take deep breaths.
We never had...
What are you, our therapist? Start the story.
John,
I'm trying to say
John,
that I read this story a while ago, and then somewhat recently, I think several months ago, I listened to this on Undercooked Analysis, and that kind of brought me back. And I listened to it then; it was good then. I kind of forgot some of it, but I remember liking the story. So I think I got some positive vibes for this one. Also, it's popular. Right. So the first thing is it comes with this image that I'm going to put on the screen now. I don't know if you can see this image.
Why are you replacing Beth's wonderful art with this stupid image, John?
Just to show the listeners.
It's a scary spook.
Yeah, so it's just one of those cryptid pictures.
It's a little creepy. A little spooky.
Just a picture of a wolf, really, with some glowy eyes.
Or something.
Is it a wolf?
Is that Smile Dog?
Maybe.
It kind of looks like if
Oh no, it wouldn't be a wolf. It'd be a goat or something. Yeah.
Why are there stairs leading up to trees?
Oh man, stairs. Yeah, that's weird.
This is such a weird ass.
What
picture.
a bad Photoshop.
Yeah, really. That's like cement.
0 out of 10.
Well, maybe it's like.
Well, maybe that's part of the story.
You know what? Didn't see that.
Yep.
That's weird. I mean, maybe it's like a pathway, and then that's the edge of the forest.
But the trees look they're on the cement.
That's true.
Maybe that's a novelty.
This is ridiculous.
I mean, this picture's probably not real.
What? What? It's definitely real. It's a cryptozoology picture, John.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just ridiculous.
All right. But in any case, we're going to start reading the story. So this is the Goatman
20 minutes
story.
later.
Exactly. All right.
Hours.
Here's my story. Be 16. Be black and have a family down in Alabama. They farm and own a huge amount of land down in Huntsville. Uncle owns a big house and a bunch of trailers they put in the woods for hunting or camping. Down south cousins suggest that we go out there and camp. Know I'm a city kid from Chicago, so they tease the fuck out of me. Collect food, kill a pig and some chickens, and bring the necessities to camp out for a few days. We get to camp, and it's obvious something is weird. Air has this weird electric smell, like right before a storm, like ozone. We think nothing of it, and unpack and go down to the little creek to swim for a few days. All of a sudden, some older white guy and a white teenager come out of the bushes. He has a shotgun in the crook of his arm and says hello, and asks us what we're doing this far back in the woods. Tell him about my uncle, who he knows, and say we're camping. He tells us we need to be real careful out here, and to stick together. There is a big animal in the woods. His son, who was my age, asks if he can stay hang out with us. He says, okay. I'm going to stop green texting because the story is fairly long and the format is harder to write in.
Thank Christ, God. I was ready to put my fucking head through a glass pane. Oh my God.
I was about to say, it's a weird way to start it, but
it's like internet authenticity and all that.
Yeah.
I also should admit, this was alright, this was originally on 4chan. So, I just wanted to mention that.
So we end up playing football. Dicking around with me, there's the white kid Tanner. It's such a white kid name.
It really is.
5 of my cousins, and then 4 of their friends. In total, there were 5 girls and 6 boys. We were all around 15 to 17. We ended up just dicking the day away.
This guy loves dicking.
Yeah, clearly. So we head back to the camp and pulling out some stuff for a campfire, even though the trailers both had kitchenettes. Tanner says his family's property sits up against my uncle's. He wants to run home and ask his dad if he can come out camping with us. My cousin Rooster says he's going to go with him since it's going to get dark soon. One of the girls also wants to tag along. It's about 7 o'clock and it's starting to get pretty dark. They take flashlights and take the trail toward Tan's property. The rest of us chill. We make s'mores, drink, and kiss on the girls. About 30 or 40 minutes later, there's the smell of ozone again. You could smell it over the smell of the fire we had started. This really nasty, coppery smell, like right after you've had a nosebleed and it stopped. It wasn't exactly like dried blood, but it was that nasty, metallic, back-of-your-throat smell.
We immediately think that it's some kind of electrical malfunction, or someone left a hot plate on or some shit. We search the trailers and nothing is on, and we can all smell it. All of a sudden, we can hear people booking down the path towards us, and Rooster, Tan, and the girl all come running into the clearing out of breath. And they don't even break stride, they all run into the trailer, right by where the fire is. We all get the fuck out of there and into the trailers. They end up calming down, even Rooster's crying his fucking eyes out at this point. All the while, the fire is guttering lower and lower. So my other cousins say fuck it, and are about to go outside to get the generator out of the shed between the trailers. Tanner goes, fuck no, lock the front door, ain't nobody else going outside. He's been crying too, and his eyes are bloodshot and puffy, and his pants are dirty as shit. He goes on to tell us that they went up to his house. His father said, sure, he can go out camping, but to make sure they were careful on the way back, that maybe they should take one of the hunting rifles just in case. Evidently, Tanner had seen something in their yard a few days before. One of their pigs had come up, ripped up and half-eaten. They assumed it was just some big cats or coyotes, even though they don't usually fuck with live animals. He had gone upstairs and packed his stuff and told his dad they would be okay without the rifle because coyotes avoid people. So they started walking back toward where we were camping.
So, Rooster finally stops crying and shaking. The girl already had, but she was staring out of the window with a dumb look on her face. He says they had gotten halfway into the woods toward the camp when they started to hear shit in the forest. It was almost pitch black by this time, so they weren't sure at first what the fuck it was. The girl says that she heard something in the bushes right off the trail, and they all beamed their flashlights over there, and there was something standing back in the woods in a little hollow. Rooster said they shouted at him and told him that he was scaring the fuck out of them and what a dick he was. That's when he realized that the guy was facing away from them. So they keep walking and they start smelling nasty coppery ozone smell. They say that they look off into the forest on the opposite side and it's a dude standing in the forest, backwards slightly closer to the path. So now they start power walking and Tan keeps going. I should have taken the fucking rifle. As they're telling the story, the smell is still super strong even inside the cabin.
They say that after they started walking faster, a kind of low gibbering had started coming from both sides of the woods. And as they started booking it back to the trailer, the girl said she had flashed her flashlight out into the woods to the side of them and had seen something jerking itself through the woods. The gibbering that's the scary part of the
classic.
The gibbering just got louder and louder. When they could see the light from our campfire, something had come out of the woods about 40 yards behind them onto the track. And they just flat out ran as hard as they could to the trailer. So we're out in the fucking woods, and we're assuming at this point it's some rednecks or some shit trying to fuck with us.
Okay, I'm sorry, Dan. Real quick, the thought of some creepy specter in the woods violently jerking itself off as it drifts toward you is actually
pretty fucking scary. Yeah.
It's
pretty scary.
I actually laughed because I think they made the same joke on Undercooked Analysis. I think one of them made the joke about the gibbering jerker.
Yeah.
Well, of course, it's an insane use of the
horrifying.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody comes at you whacking their peen, it's a scary time.
You gotta roll out. That person they got nothing to lose.
Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden, my other cousin, Junior, geez, this fucking name starts going on.
It's Alabama, all right?
It's so folksy. Shut the fuck up.
It's I name my son Rooster.
Yeah, that's please.
Go, what's the name of the Alabama team?
The Crimson Tide.
Whatever. Go.
Oh, fuck my cousin. There you go.
Roll
That's
Tide, John. Roll Tide.
Starts going on about how he went to school with a native kid that was telling him about the Goatman or some shit. We probably tell him to shut the fuck up because we don't need any spooky talk right now.
Can you please hang on, Dan? Don't.
You don't want me to do the southern twang?
Don't do it, buddy.
I subconsciously started slipping into it because of the subject matter.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just do it. No, it's fine.
No.
Do it if you want.
But he just keeps going on and on about how it's the fucking Goatman and how we're in his woods and blah, 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 blah. Now, at the time, I had never heard of this Goatman or any of that. But then a couple years ago, the year before I graduated from college, I had a meme nom for a roommate, and I ended up asking him about it. And to sum it up, it's basically a fucking man with the head of a goat, and he can shapeshift, and he gets among groups of people to terrorize them. It's also supposed to be kind of like a Wendigo. Hey, and it's bad mojo to even talk about it, and even worse if you see it.
Keep in mind, I didn't know this back when I was 16. So my cousin is going. The Goatman's gonna get in and fucking get us. The girls are all terrified, and my cousins and I are all fucking trying to figure out if it's just some hillbillies or if it's some animal. All of a sudden, the smell just goes away. Like, to this day, I haven't experienced anything like it. Usually, smells fade away or lessen. It just literally was there 1 second and then not the next.
Those guys never smell any of my farts.
I have.
I don't know why that got to me.
Because we're like 2 years old.
Too real.
Right. So it's after an hour, making it around 9 or 10. We've stopped shitting bricks enough to go...
Hold, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but he keeps talking about how pitch black it is outside. It was only like 8 o'clock when they encountered
Well,
this
they're in the middle of
thing.
the forest.
Dark.
It's going to be dark.
Yeah, the forest is
You're in the middle of the forest, too.
Yeah, I guess.
It's Alabama.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
What, is Alabama notoriously darker than the rest of the world for some reason?
No, Alaska also starts with an A, and he's having a hard time. That's all it is.
But just continue.
Wait, what does that mean?
Just continue.
You get. I get it.
I'm a little...
What,
I don't know,
Alaska?
it just seems
Well,
like
I get
whatever.
it. It's okay as long as I get
Alaska gets really dark at certain times of the year. The sun never comes up for the entire
That's
day.
not what I meant, though.
I was just making fun of your intelligence.
What was new about
it.
that?
Take that out of the podcast.
What's new about that?
Oh,
right. I'm trying to remember where I was.
From the big break.
Shitting bricks.
So it's after an hour, making it around 9 or 10. We've stopped shitting bricks enough to go back outside and stoke the fire
Stoke
again.
the fire, buddy.
I read Stroke too.
Yeah, me too.
I read Stroke too, and I think it's only because you were stroking the fire last night trying to get it going.
Don't bring that up. We figured it was just some assholes trying to fuck with us, so we didn't go back home, because we think if we do, they'll chase us through the woods or some crazy shit. Nothing else weird happens that night, and we stay another night, and for the main part of the night, nothing happens. At about 1 in the morning, we're outside getting drunk and telling ghost stories. As somebody is finishing some too spooky story...
Shut up!
I don't remember what about... The smell comes back. It's so fucking strong that one of the girls literally starts vomiting.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like, these people come, they run through the woods terrified, so much so that they're crying and shaking. And they're like, oh no, we just stayed another night, it's fine. If they were that fucking terrified, why
well, no,
would
they were
stay?
explaining it. Well,
I
first
know,
of all,
but
they thought it was
you
an
know.
animal or rednecks, but either way,
If you think rednecks are running around and you're
jerking
terrified,
off, chasing you,
get the
right?
fuck
they
out of there.
right. That's another
No
thing.
laws,
I
motherfucker.
I completely forgot about the jacking off. Somebody was running towards them, jerking off, and they're like, "No, we'll just stay another
Well,
night."
that didn't happen.
Did I look like a goat?
No.
Yeah, who can say? Let's get drunk. Like, are you lunatics? You should be in your car
That's what
going
I'm saying.
speeding
Right,
down the road.
Right, it's bullshit.
You should be in another state by sunup.
Oh,
Insanity.
Thank you, William.
Oh, well.
I think okay, if that's what you would do, that's fine. I think he explains his actions all right.
His lunatic actions. How does he explain them? What are you talking about?
Well, like, why?
Nothing else weird happens that night? What, as if you, like, need more crazy shit? Well, the goat was jerking off and sprinting at me, but he didn't hold a toaster. Like, what do you need to be fleeing in fear? I don't get it. He just stares straight-faced into the gaping maw of insanity, and he's like, I could use a Bud Light. Things will clear up, I bet.
Oh, God.
Good to be back.
Shut the fuck up.
William, could just read, please.
I stand up, and you can actually feel how clammy the air is. I say we should just get inside, and this isn't right. We should have just fucking left.
No shit.
We all go back inside, and we're standing around. My cousin just keeps going on and on about how it's the Goatman, and my cousin Rooster tries to shut him the fuck up. And all the while, I'm just feeling that something's wrong, and I can't figure out what the fuck it is. We end up sitting in there for a while. The smell is just as strong, and we're terrified and all huddled in this camper. We end up cooking brats for everybody because nobody wants to go outside. It's one of those packs with 4 brats. We have a total of 3 packs. I grill them up on the stove and give everybody a hot dog. I get mine. After a while, one of my cousins gets up and goes over to the pot to get another one. He starts grumbling about how I get 2 brats and everybody else only got 1, and I look at him like he's fucking stupid. I tell him everybody only got 1 because there were only 12 brats. If he wants more, he should open up a new pack and cook some more. That's when the girl that had been out with Rooster and Tan just starts screaming, "Oh Jesus, oh Lord, get it out." She's crying and shivering, and then it dawns on the cousin standing up what the fuck is wrong. Me and him both glance around the room, and then I feel my heart fucking sink. I run the fuck out of the cabin, and the girl runs out with us. The trailer door is banging against the side of the trailer as everybody books out of the cabin. One of my cousin's friends asks us what the fuck was wrong. I start counting us. There's only 11 now.
Oh, fuck. Alright, that was a little cool.
I shit you not, my cousin verified. There had been 12 people in the cabin, but being that everybody didn't really know each other well, nobody had really noticed the whole fucking time that there was an extra person. And then I realized earlier that I had kind of noticed something was off. You know how when you're just dicking around having a good time, that you don't sweat the smallest shit, and you don't always keep track of certain stuff? I'm dead sure that someone else had been in the trailer with us, and that they had been there for at least a fucking day eating with us. What makes it worse is I could figure out which one because I don't think anyone ever actually interacted with the other person, the Goatman. The girl kept praying to Jesus, and we're all sitting outside. Eventually, we get big-ass sticks and go back in the cabin, but there's nobody in there. We count again, and there's 11 people. We go back in the trailer and lock the door. We explain what the fuck happened, and the girl says that she realized too, and that when he was about to say something, the person sitting next to her had grabbed her leg hard and leaned over toward her and said something she couldn't understand. So we were pretty much scared as fuck as we huddled together, and I fall asleep. When I wake up, the sun is just coming up, and half the people are asleep, and the other half are packing our shit up. Were you gonna say something, Will?
It's just like you're not scared at the crazy forest jerker, but when someone snatches a hot dog, then you lose your mind.
That was a joke. That was a misread.
I know.
My
God.
God.
But my point is, when you see lunatics running in the woods,
Phallic symbols, hot dog.
I don't get it. Shut the fuck up.
Dylan loves phallic symbols.
Dylan, everything's a phallic symbol with you.
You fucking brought it up first, you shit!
No, he
the
really
jerker,
didn't.
for God's sake.
Yeah, but that had nothing to do
That
with
was
the
not the
dogs.
hot dogs. That was your own dirty mind.
Yeah, you're really.
I think
you're really reaching, bud. Stop getting so defensive when clearly you're the only one thinking about dicks.
It's fine. At least they're leaving. Go ahead, Dylan. I'm sorry.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Shut up, Nathan. Fuck off.
You brought that upon yourself.
Fuck off.
So we're pretty much scared as fuck as we huddle together, and I fall asleep. When I wake up, the sun is just coming up, and half the people are asleep, and the other half are packing our shit up. Deja vu. We all want to walk back home.
Please just keep reading. Please.
What?
He read,
Whatever.
He read what William read, and then said deja vu.
Nate, please take over.
No! Fucking
you have what?
You read nothing! You read actually nothing!
Leave me alone! Hold on! Okay, we all want to walk back home.
I can't.
We all want to walk back home, but like 4 people want to stay until the sun is all the way up. And some people think that we're just fucking around and still want to stay at the trailers.
Who thinks that?
Who are these lunatics?
We're gonna find out if you stop interjecting! Holy shit! I just want to get the fuck out of the woods. The girl's name was Kira. Kira.
You were okay.
You were fine.
The one that the Goatman had touched. Anyway, I asked her If she really thinks it was something bad, and she says she just wants to go home and she doesn't want to be out in the woods alone for another night. So we decide to split up. The four that want to go can go, but I have to stay because I have the keys to the cabin and it's my uncle's and I have to lock up. I'm super pissed at this point because I feel like people aren't taking this shit seriously. And I definitely
I will interject and say I actually am okay.
Damn it.
I'm sorry. I am okay with this because this isn't like a group of people who are necessarily together. They're just hanging out together. It's like he explains at the beginning of the story like how this came to be and how it started off with some people and they picked up some more people and some people want to leave and some people like he's saying he has to stay behind so he has to lock up the cabin and all this shit. So I can understand why people would split up in this situation since it's not like a big group. Since it's not like a group that's like cohesively together. I know it's stupid and William's right to be a little upset by this, but I'm just saying.
But the problem is the problem is with that is like if you don't know all of these people and one of them like clearly the Goatman can shapeshift.
Well, I'm just saying
and be among them. Like, wouldn't the story really be focused on paranoia rather of like each other rather than?
Well, yeah, it is paranoia because people are disagreeing what to do. But I'm saying the four people that want to leave early are probably together.
This is like a redneck version of The Thing where we ignore what made The Thing great.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead again, Dylan.
Thank you. I feel like people aren't taking this shit seriously, and I definitely didn't want to be out in the woods for another night. I spend the rest of the day trying to convince the rest of the people, now 4 girls and 4 guys, to get the fuck out of Dodge. Tanner leaves with them to go get a rifle and says he's going to be back. So there are just 7 of us left by 4 p.m. At around 5 p.m., he hasn't made it back yet, and we're getting extremely fucking antsy. And the only reason I stopped begging them to go back was because he went to get a gun. It's about 5:30 p.m. or so. When the one cousin that didn't stay says the girl Kira is outside, we all look outside, and sure enough, she's standing by the fire pit with her back to the cabin.
I'm thinking to myself, if she was so fucking scared, why the hell would she come back? And then I get this nasty feeling in my gut. Keep in mind, the whole time the coppery smell has been gone. Now I realize I can smell just a twinge of it. Sorry.
Twinge.
A stroke. I say this to the rest of them and everybody, and these are people that wanted to stay in the fucking woods after we had the goddamn Goatman in our midst. It is laughing at me and asking if I set this up to scare them. I'm looking at them. I'm not fucking bullshitting you at all right now. I asked them why the fuck would I play like that. So one of the girls goes outside to get Kira. She gets halfway to her and stops cold. Kira starts heaving. I don't know how the fuck to describe it. Sort of if someone with their back turned was laughing without actually making any sound. It was the fact that made me realize there was not a fucking sound in the whole woods. It was dead silent. This was like later in September, so it was still fairly hot at the time, but it was super chilly some days too. And you could usually hear big-ass geese honking or some kind of birds or squirrels chit-chatting. So I step out the door and tell her to come back in the fucking trailer right goddamn now. She steps back into the trailer and we lock the fucking door. We pull down the shades except one and put a guy there in a chair to watch her. She stands there for another 20 minutes or so. The guy turns to say that she's still there. And there's a huge fucking bang on the door. We all jump the fuck up and scramble around the living room of the trailer. The banging is super fucking loud. So now my cousin is holding one of the girls and the other 2 are kind of giggling with nervous laughter and me and the other 2 guys are shitting bricks.
Who's giggling? Why?
He spelled bricks with an X.
Yeah, it was a cool way to spell it.
Then we hear Tan. He's screaming, "Let me the fuck in! Stop fucking playing!" We go over to the door and open it, and he stumbles in with the rifle. There's nobody else outside. Evidently, he had walked up to the campsite. Nothing weird happened in the forest, but he had seen a girl. Mind you, he said it was not Kira standing there. When he had gotten to the edge of the clearing, she had turned toward him with a slack-jawed look and just stared at him, slowly tracking him as he walked around the camp outside of the clearing towards the camp. He said it wasn't until he was almost halfway to the trailer he had realized that she was getting closer to him. She had started off by the fire, and without him even seeing her move, she had been turning, inching closer. He said he had just ran the rest of the way back to the cabin thinking it would open, and when he got to the door and it was locked, he turned and it was about half the distance to the door. He looks around the room and gets super pale. He pulls me to the side and whispers in my ear, "You know there are only 7 of us in here, right? I get that feeling where your stomach drops to your nuts. It had been back inside the trailer while we were sorting out who was going where, and when we all went outside to talk earlier in the day, it had just slipped right back in." We looked out the window and there's nobody out there. So we recount everyone, and then basically I go over and ask everyone how many people were here earlier. And everyone says 8. I say, well, how many are here now? They all do the count and realize there are only now 7 people in the cabin.
I like how this Goatman, instead of, like, doing anything nasty, he's just, like, popping his head in and chuckling to himself. He's just really, like, fly on a walling it. You know, there's people who are like, I just wish I could, like, see what was going on. He's just slipping in. Being a little goof in the corner, giggling, and then he slips out. It's great.
So
he's not hurting anybody.
So he's just jerking off in the woods.
He's just jerking off in the woods.
So Tanner brought back a couple boxes of ammo and his rifle, and he had told his dad that there was some kind of animal in the forest because he didn't think his dad would believe him if he said it was a Goatman. He says that his cousin is supposed to be coming down in a few hours, and that in the morning we can all go back to his place and his cousin will drive us home. Now I'm really fucking terrified. But I, at least, feel better because we can be American and shoot the fuck out of whatever it is that comes back.
Oh,
damn! America!
Fuck yeah!
When my cousin gets in this huge argument with one of the girls because she thinks that I'm trying to be funny and prank them, and that she's getting really scared and that I'm not funny. He keeps telling her I'm not that kind of person. She says, well, how do we know the girl wasn't just Tanner in her wig? Or if it's really the Goatman, how do we know that this is the real Tanner and that the Goatman just didn't kill Tanner in the woods and take his gun?
Now we got a fucking Goatman truther in the cabin. Worse than the Goatman himself. That's who you should be riddling with bullets. This fucking loon who's tinfoil hatting the fuck out of me.
No, I love how, like, everyone's panicking and there's this one guy in the corner being like, it might be the Goatman.
Yeah. And we got this lunatic going, you're all sheep. It's like, who are you? Who invited this person?
Well, that's the thing. It's a group of people that don't really know each
That's
other.
what you should be asking yourself. Cut off that friendship. Good lord.
Good job.
So, we fucking get into a huge argument about this, where me and Tanner are like, we could seriously be in danger because at the very least someone has been sneaking themselves into our fucking trailer without us knowing and mingling with us. And at worst, something bad is in the forest fucking with us. One of the girls is crying and saying she wants to go right now. We're trying to tell her that we shouldn't because none of us are walking through the woods in the middle of the night. At this point, the sun is starting to go down, and it's getting a little cloudy out. We eat something and turn on the radio for a while. But we can't really get a station out there with anything decent, so we turn it off at about the time that Tanner's cousin shows up. He was like 19, I think. At this point, the sun is just barely above the horizon, and he has one of those heavy-duty lantern flashlights and another rifle. He walks to the trailer, and we whisper to Tan, asking if he's sure that's his cousin, and he says yes. The guy looks behind him and all around the camp and then walks in. He kind of glances at all of us and looks a little confused. He says, hey, where's your little buddy at? I figured she would meet me up in the cabin. Is she a little slow or something? He also asked whether we had been cooking blood in the cabin because it smelled like blood. We were all like, fucking nope. But we asked him what the fuck he's talking about with the girl he saw.
He had come down the same trail Tan had been using, and he had come up on one of you's guys' buddies. Is this what?
You's guys' buddies.
What a strange accent to find in Alabama.
Two youths.
Standing in the middle of the trail, looking at him slack-jawed. He had asked her a bunch of questions, but all she did was just look at him. Then she smiled at him, and he said he kept walking. She couldn't seem to keep up with him, and kept lagging a little behind him. He said he asked her if she was hurt or something, and if she needed any help. But she'd continued to stare. Eventually, he had been walking and turned around a bend in the trail. But when he turned around and went back to see if she was okay, the trail was empty. He'd assumed she had taken some shortcut through the woods to our trailer. We tell him the whole story of what's been going on. I half expected him to just say we were full of shit, but he listened and then sat down on the couches in the living room. Tanner's cousin gets back to the girl. He says when she had kept trying to lag behind him, it had kind of weirded him the fuck out. So he tried to keep her in front of him, but no matter how slow he walked, she was always lagging a little behind. And that he smelled this nasty smell, and it got stronger as he got to the camp. Eventually it got really strong. She had said something really low that he didn't catch, and when he had turned around, she had been right the fuck up on him, and he stepped back from her. It was at this point he asked her if she was okay, and if she wasn't, him to carry her back the rest of the way, and she just kept staring. He said he reached out for her, as in to grab her on the shoulder, but he must have misjudged the distance, because she was off to the side of where he had put his hand, like she had moved while he was looking dead at her. So at this point, we know this shit's real, unless Tan is playing a joke, which we can tell he's not, because he's almost pissing his pants.
So they load up their rifles, we eat some more, and we just kind of sit around until about 11. To this fucking day, every time I think about this, I really pray to God that it's some huge prank, that my cousins played on me and just never revealed, so I would shit for the rest of my life. At round 11, the stink of copper turned to an actual nasty, gross, blood-like smell. Like cooking blood and singed hair. Tan and his cousin Reese get the fuck up instantly and grab the rifles. There's like a half-knocking, half-clawing at the door. I shit you not, there's this voice, and it sounds like when you see those YouTube cats and dogs whose owners teach them how to talk. It says in this halting, weirdly toned voice, "Let me the fuck in. Stop fucking playing." It made my fucking nuts creep up against my body, and one of the girls just started crying and calling on Jesus. It was so fucking obviously not a person talking. It didn't have the right cadence, and there's some shit that I never realized until that moment. But all people have a certain cadence when they talk. No matter what language, all people have a certain kind of rhythm to talking. This shit didn't have any kind of cadence or rhythm. One of those YouTube cats that would what the fuck it sounded like outside the door. Now I'm in full on terror mode. We keep yelling outside, "Who is it? Stop fucking around, man." And it just keeps saying, "In or let me the fuck in," for almost 15 minutes.
Oh, there's a link.
Oh, 15 minutes. That's a long time.
Jeez. Yeah, it's here too.
That's a long period.
We'll watch that
of
later.
time.
Let's finish the story.
We can. Okay. Well, we will. Yeah,
It's
I
just-
actually didn't remember if there was. I didn't
That's
remember
fine.
this.
It's fine. It's just
Okay.
going to be a video of a
It is-
cat
I think it's just
talking on
audio.
YouTube. Yeah.
Probably.
Of like what the Goatman supposedly sounds like. So just keep reading Dolan or pass on to Nate.
It sounded like this almost just not funny. Sorry for being on a tangent, but if you can't imagine how this shit sounded, then you can't imagine how fucked up the whole
Yeah,
situation
so it's a cat or dog talking. We're not fucking watching that. That's fine. Shut up.
Well, it's not watching. I think it's just audio.
Well, whatever. We know.
It's-
We know.
Same shit. So then the smell goes away for a while, and for the next hour or so, you can hear someone basically creeping around in the woods and shit. Every couple minutes, it'll come back into the door and say something. Finally, when the smell fades away, it's around 2 in the morning right now. Reese says, "Man, fuck this," and opens the door and walks outside with his rifle. He fires a shot in the air and says something to the effect of, "In the name of Jesus Christ, go away." He fires 2 more times, and then from the woods right up against the river, across from the trailer, it sounds like something is slowly gibbering and hooting.
Then it starts screaming, and it sounds almost like a woman and a cat in a bag screaming together. Like, I seriously have never heard of any shit like that. And you can hear the brush over that way start to shake. Reese fires over into the tree line and then starts backing into the house. We lock the door and we can hear the shit keening and screaming. Reese says something had come out of the bushes, super low to the ground and crawling toward the cabin he had shot at it. Pretty much that was how the rest of the night went. It was literally screaming constantly for the next 2 hours, and we could hear shit moving out into the tree line. But it never came back up to the cabin until everyone had finally fallen asleep.
How do you fall asleep with something this thing
Right.
screaming in the
I mean,
fucking...
you get so exhausted, it doesn't even matter. You know what I
It
mean?
just
Like,
happens.
Yeah, I guess insanity takes over and you're just
I
like...
guess.
Yeah.
I feel like a little goat man just wants another hot dog. Like, I don't get it.
He does.
Open your door, he comes in, he mills around, he eats a little food, and then he leaves. You don't even know he's there. He's an ideal house guest at a party.
He's a little hungry.
Honestly, those are the best people. It makes the party look lively.
I'm with you.
They're
Will.
not annoying. They don't
I
eat
agree.
too much. He only had 1 hot dog. You know, very nice of him. He didn't go all in on the brats as they kept calling them.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, I don't see the problem here. And when
No,
you don't
I
let him
agree.
in, he's screaming out in the woods like a lunatic.
jerk it off.
He's jerking off. He's screaming. Sounds like a cat in a bag, apparently.
A
Or a cat
woman
talking.
and a cat in a bag.
I mean, I just don't see the problem.
I agree with you.
That's
Well, when he
all.
was in the... I know one's mostly joking here, but like with the... Once, like, there was the moment really early in the story where he grabs the girl's leg and, like, claws at it a little bit and like whispers something in her ear or something.
Come on
He's
now,
just
let's
having a good
let's
time.
not. He wanted to say a word, so he leaned over, he whispered something. He was just being friendly. Remember when they said no one talked to him? Can you imagine if you go to a party and no one talks to you? The poor guy was trying to be
every party I've ever
involved.
been to.
He was trying to feel included. Damn, that's too real. He was just trying to have a good time. You know? No one talks to him. He reaches out. People act all weird, so he feels bad. He leaves. I don't see how this... And he's the villain of our story. This seems a little wrong to me. That's all.
Good for you.
This
Will.
is
You
a
have to let
first
that
on
out.
Scarier Friends, where we're defending the fucking
Sympathizing
evil
with the
entity.
fucking monster.
Evil? See, this is the problem right here. Throwing around loaded words like evil. Get at it. Yeah. 1 hot dog. He's not eating much. Nothing wrong
I'm
with him.
gonna finish this paragraph.
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you. Tan had been sitting in the chair watching the door with his rifle. Nobody else heard or saw this, and he told me 2 days later after the whole thing was over. He said he had been nodding off after the screaming and noises finally stopped. He had been almost asleep when he saw someone come out of the bathroom and then lay down in the middle of the floor and go to sleep. He just assumed it was one of us, and he had nodded off. Then he said he kind of realized something was wrong, and while pretending to be sleeping, he counted us. There were 9 people in the cabin. He basically didn't want to try to shoot at the fucking thing in the cabin and have it kill us all, and then and there, or have Reese wake up and start shooting, and then we all kill ourselves. So he just stayed awake all night pretending to be asleep. He said sometimes it would stand up and kind of do this weird jittery thing or heave like it was laughing, but then it would lay back down.
The story closes pretty weak, because from my perspective, nothing happened. We woke up and I noticed that Tan was a little jittery, and then he was avoiding looking at all of us. But we ate some breakfast, packed up, and started walking to his house. He stayed last in the cabin, said he'd lock up and bring me my uncle's keys. To just start walking and he'd catch up, which I didn't really want to fucking do. We got a little bit up the path, and then I came running up. And then when he came running up, he just jogged back to his house. His cousin took us home. There was a window in the bathroom. Tan had gone back to lock up and looked in there. We were too stupid to lock a screenless window. The window was fucking up when he went in there. I'm guessing he had been doing that all along, waiting for us to fall asleep or slip up, and then getting in among us. It walked with us and all the goddamn way back to his house, and then he said it lagged to the back of the group and looked him dead in the eyes before walking into the woods.
What a great guy the Goatman is. He didn't do a thing wrong that whole
He
story.
definitely killed people because people were missing, weren't there? Like 3 or 4 people. Well, no, he didn't actually.
They left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just left.
He was.
But
but
they don't know those people
Right.
though,
Right.
so you don't know.
Right.
I mean, like all we know is that some people go into the woods, and then like one of the girls,
Only one
Kiara,
comes back,
back. But like, did the Goatmen like?
No, they left though, right?
Well, they left, but from the narrator's perspective, they go to leave, but you don't know what happens when they're actually. In the woods or
Oh,
leaving.
you can't just assume innocent until proven guilty. That's what I say. That Goatman, unbelievable.
I mean, well, my evidence
well,
is that.
maybe they died.
Well, what do you think? How did the
Preposterous.
Goatmen, take the form of?
He's a shapeshifter. What are you talking about? He doesn't need to eat his victims. Shapeshifters can
But
just
then what's
change
the
into
point of the
anything.
story? Because it's creepy, but he never actually does anything.
Exactly.
It is
my point.
It is kind of creepy with like Reese with
Creepy.
the gun, noticing
look,
the thing standing there.
There's a lot of like really cool moments in this, but I think overall the story is kind of like eh.
No, I
It's a
like
little
this.
weird.
I
You're crazy.
disagree.
It's a story of a great forest companion who comes across groups having a swell time and joins in.
Will, I value your opinion.
I don't care what you
I think there's a lot of like cool like images in the story, like it's jittering or like screaming for 2 hours right outside.
No,
the
this
cabin.
is
I think
creepy.
was
Like
pretty
imagine
solid. No,
it is creepy.
It is.
No, at the end, like
It is.
especially like imagine like honestly, you're this older guy with a bunch of kids, and you're holding this gun trying to fall asleep, and you notice that the creature's there, and you're just trying to like.
He's just hanging out.
But like any second, this creature could
Right.
like attack you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like you watch it slowly
But it
stand
doesn't,
up.
right?
But you don't know that.
All right, but that's just your own rude preconceived notions about forest
Yeah, but
creatures.
these are.
all.
I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the guys who literally said, "quote
Right.
unquote," we can shoot it the fuck up because this is America.
That's what I'm saying. It's their preconceived notions. I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking the bigoted characters in our story, John, who are lashing out at this friendly woodland creature who only wants to go among them and befriend them. That's all I'm saying. He's always laughing. He's full of mirth. He's very quiet. You know what I mean? Doesn't make much noise. He's got something to say,
Well, he
but
bangs.
no one ever
all right,
listens
well,
to
he,
him.
He did bang on the trailer door trying to get in.
Well, he felt bad at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
What do you mean he felt bad?
because he kept getting ostracized. He went to the party, no one talked to him. And then he tries to talk to one girl, and she freaks out and acts like he's some lunatic monster.
That's my life.
When all he's trying to do is talk.
You know,
what I
William,
mean?
honestly, this interpretation, there's a lot of weight to it.
And you know
Believe it or
what?
not.
He was making a joke because he saw Tan come in earlier. Yo, let me the fuck in.
Right,
He
he
thought, that'll be hilarious if I do the same thing.
Right.
I'll be in on the joke
Right.
finally. So
Or
he
like-
walks up, he
or
tries
like
to do
he
it.
Was just, he was
the
just,
poor guy.
Yeah. Or like he was just trying to be like them and
Look,
just trying to get in. Yeah.
Look, Goatman's not very funny. You know what I mean? Some people, they don't have a good sense of
And
humor.
it's
Right.
assumed. And you don't know that he actually took the people. It's assumed.
He didn't!
It's assumed.
No, it isn't!
no.
You're assuming it because you're a bigot. I'm not fine with you. I'm
But
saying
we
it's
never
assumed
see
that
them
we
again.
don't know. They went home, John. They
And
went
he was
home.
and he was among them. Because every time people left, it was always like Tanner, Kira, and then one other person. So the Goatman.
But imagine knowing that, like, even if you escape let's say you're Tanner and you escape the woods. Now you know that Goatman thing will always be in the woods, possibly copying you.
Right.
In the woods, interacting with people who may know Tanner.
Right.
Not realizing that it's not actually Tanner. It's
kind of like
an
It Follows vibe. A little bit.
I find that kind of terrifying.
No, it is. It's very scary. Yeah. It is. But, I think Will's right. I think he was just a guy just looking for a good time.
Exactly.
Well, you live alone in the woods. How many times do people go to your territory? If anything, they're fucking intruding, honestly.
They really are. He was there first, frankly. And just to treat him like an outcast is wrong. To come to where he lives, they come to his home, and they act like he's the
rifles
monster.
Around you.
They're shooting at him. You know what I mean? It's really rude. And I think this story would have been good, but it really misrepresents its most important character. That's all I have to say.
Well, no, clearly you don't think it misrepresents its favorite character. Because, like, you're implying that the main characters are wrong, so it's doing the right thing.
Alright, well, if you look at the story as in condemning its main characters, this cast of motley Southerners, then yes,
well,
I agree.
Put yourself in the shoes of Tanner or this older kid who's 19 years old with the rifle. Would you find this situation creepy if you are trying to fall asleep and this thing is sitting next to you, screaming bloody murder?
Alright, first of all, how about maybe when you're at a party with a group of people, you go around and you talk to some of them? How about that? How about you all know universally ostracize
That's not the same thing.
and act like an
That's not the same thing.
Well, that's why it
You have
happens.
a makeout party and the guy in the corner is just sitting there.
That's why it happens.
Jerking off, and
It's
then he goes into the woods and jerks off.
How do you walk in a group and not, like, talk to one person the entire day? He was with them, like, a whole day at the beginning. How did none of them say a word to the poor guy? He must have felt horrible. Like, that's the worst feeling in the world when you don't know anybody and you just need to break the ice and talk to someone.
You telling us something, Will?
Oh my gosh, just in general, the human experience, Nate, the Goatman experience, if you will. It's a universal. And this poor guy just wants a friend, and he can't find one here. And he tries to make a joke later, and it doesn't hit, and he just doesn't know what to do.
I've never in my life.
It's such a sad story, really.
You are a nut. You really are
What are you talking about? This isn't a creep pasta. This is a sad pasta.
This is a sad noodle.
This is a wilted noodle. A sad tale of a goat man who can't seem to find friends among men. Well, hopefully he finds friend among goats. That's all I have to say. Maybe the grass is greener over there.
He's really
Do you think he does this with goats too? He transforms into goats. All the other goats run away from him.
I mean, I hope the goats are more accepting. That'd be crushing. 2 species. Among which you're universally reviled for no reason.
William's really on a roll tonight.
This poor guy. It's just depressing.
I like it.
That's all.
That's a fascinating take, I have to say. I find this thing terrifying, and it's a cryptid, and it's kind of fucking weird.
No, going back to
but I guess
going back to a more less batshit
I will back up William's thing in saying that this is just a creature. That doesn't mean it fundamentally wants to harm human beings or is fundamentally evil. But at the same time, if this is a thing that could shapeshift into one of us, it's like, that's kind of fucking weird. Right. I don't want a creature.
And it shapeshifts
and
then hangs out with us all day.
I don't want what's basically an alien to be able to...
Why not? What do you mean you don't want an alien?
No, well, let me finish my sentence. Let me finish my sentence first.
Sure.
I don't want an alien who can copy me and my inflections and my voice and walk like me and talk like me. Because I think it's trying to learn how to talk like the people it's copying.
Right, yeah.
And I think it's kind of... Because I can imagine this, this slack-jawed looking human thing, kind of creeping up on you very slowly because it's trying to learn how to be the person.
He's just doing his best.
What just happened?
That really broke John.
Dylan, what'd you think of the story? Please.
I'm totally desensitized on Will's statement. I can't even. I have no take on it. I'm not even I can't even.
I think if we're looking at this as a horror story and not a fucking Aesop fable like William's fucking... I think it is... I think the pacing's kind of weird. The way it's written, and I get it's like a Reddit post... But it kind of takes a little bit when every other word... Whatever the fuck, it's the same
there's
thing.
a lot, but I think it's well explained what's happening. You can visualize it.
I like the imagery.
Because again, it's because here's the thing. This story would not work if it was imagine if it was just the 5 of us. We all know each other very well.
Right.
We would know if there's a 6th person hidden. But, like, you're one person in a group of 12, and you only know 3 people. Right. So you see this Goatman person. You're not counting the number of people in there all the time. So to you, there's actually 11 people. The Goatman because there's 12. But there's, like, imagine you know 3 people, and there's 9 others that you don't really know. So you're not really, and you know, this is this century, so you're not going to talk to them.
I would have liked more of, like, the trust breaking down between these people. Like, they can't trust each other. And I know it's a little cliche and tropey, but it would have been interesting to see that at least a little bit, rather than
there's a lot of disagreement as far as like some people want to. I like how everyone has a different opinion on what they should do. Because some people think that's safest in the trailer because it can't get in, but clearly it's getting in. But it's getting in every fucking night, and they don't know how.
Hot dogs and hanging out,
right?
So,
but no, I really love that last image. I know it kind of because it ends realistically with them just leaving, but I really love that last image of this guy trying to pretend to be asleep, horrified, and like every single time, I can imagine every single time this creature's rising from the carpet, he's like gripping his gun,
fucking tense, right?
Because he has to get ready to
turn
and shoot.
It just like shakes and like heaves, and then goes back to bed.
Heaves. You don't know if it's going to charge you. It could charge one of the kids,
right?
And you have to get ready to fire at
it's
any
very
point.
Up, it's like the Wendigos from fucking.
Some people didn't play the game.
It's from the Wendigos from Until Dawn. The game came out 3 fucking years ago, Dylan. If you haven't played it, that's on you. Spoilers for a 3-year-old game. Come on.
Cut that shit out.
William looks like really dejected.
No, he's done. He's done talking.
He's so dejected.
He doesn't get any more to say.
Would you like to add anything else, William?
No.
About your interpretation? No, I would love to hear more.
It's not an Aesop fable, Dan. It's a tragedy. That's all I have to say.
And
all right, so that was William's final thoughts. Dylan, final thoughts on the Goatman. Come on, just say what did you think? Okay, look, just your opinion. Ignore what William said. Ignore what I've said.
That's impossible.
You have to have You have to have your own opinion. No, it's not too late. What's your opinion of the story that you just read?
It just, there was 5 cousins and 4 friends, right? But they didn't explain.
There was a group of 11 people, and not everyone knew each other.
We're doing the numbers now.
Yeah, I know, but like going back to 5 cousins, 4 friends, Tanner, and main character.
Yes, those are the 2 best friends of this.
But they didn't really explain who really went. They just said, 2 people were gone.
Well, because they can't, because like it's only from the perspective of the main character,
right?
But he only knows the people who he knows.
Right. Which are there's 5 of the people he knows.
Because like he keeps saying the 2, like he keeps saying the 2 girls, the 3 boys, right? The 3 boys, the 2 girls, because he doesn't know their names.
No, if there's 12 with the Goatman and he only knows 6, that's 6 additional people he doesn't know.
Right. So he doesn't know them by face. So he could just be looking. Yeah, he doesn't know.
Right.
Because that's the only way the story works.
If this
is a tightly knitted group of 11 friends, this Goatman's not going to get in.
Well,
it would get in, but they would know immediately something goes up because they're like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Right.
Because they know everyone else.
It is.
But that's why it works.
It is creepy to the point where like, there's someone amongst you that you have no idea about, and then shit goes awry.
Imagine if like you're at a college party setting, like there's 20, 30 people in like a college dorm or some shit. You're not gonna know, or like in a an apartment room or a suite house. You're not gonna know everybody in that room. Right. So it's the same thing. You could be
shoes get stolen.
You could be sitting next to the monster and you would never know. It's just looks like a normal dude.
And the monster is William.
Well, he's the monster apologist.
How about we stop calling him a monster, okay? How about we call him his name, Goatman?
It's a pretty solid name, birth name.
Maybe that's just a nickname for the kid that was the extra guy. Never know.
Nate, what do you think of the story?
It was good. There was really not much to say.
It's no It 2017.
It's no It. If I'm being honest.
I'm sorry that this creepypasta isn't the Stephen King novel. I'm sorry, Nathan.
Get on that shit.
First off, he never read the book. This guy read the book.
Okay, what does it matter?
Yeah, but I explained all the differences, so it's like he read the book.
All right, Nate, just the story.
No, I felt it was creepy. It wasn't scary. I feel like there's definitely a fine line between those. It wasn't the best story, I would say. It wasn't as interesting as most others. It grabbed me like that much, I would say, and mainly towards the end. That was it. Shut up! I don't want to see anything. He was a monster. I would consider him a monster.
Okay, guys, for those of you who,
Change starts with us, Nate. God damn it!
Yeah, John, speak.
No, I'm trying to. Nate, you can't. Nate, you can't use your index finger and your thumb and say this much on the audio only podcast. You know what I mean?
Very little. He cared very little.
Right. Yeah. Just you can't do hand signals. You know what I mean? All right, Dan, you.
There's something about the story I don't like, and I can't put my finger on it right now because
That's
my
fair.
brain is scrambled because of fucking the other things that are going on with the story.
Fucking William's just smiling in the corner.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like the pacing or the way it's written. I'm not. He's just scowling. I don't know if it's the pacing or the way it's written or whatever. There's just something about the story that didn't grab me. I think the imagery is good. I think the horror is pretty solid. I like the idea of just like someone else is there. And, like, the revelation comes with the numbers. I think that's very clever for a story like this. Yeah. And, you know, again, like, the things among them, and it's, like, in the woods screaming for 2 hours, or it's, like, banging on the door. All that stuff is really solid, and it is really fucking scary. Or it being in the trailer, fucking getting up, breathing, and shaking, and then sitting back down.
I feel like there definitely could be a lot more.
There could be more than...
As much as the story was long as it was...
Well, there's your happy ending, William. Maybe there's more Goatman, like this Goatman.
Goatman 2, baby!
No, I hope so. He deserves it.
All right.
But he would never know if there were more because they shapeshift like him. That's the tragedy, really.
But can I say one that I did like was the storytelling, how it was written. I kind of like it wasn't just like a regular thing we read all the time. It was actually just like casual like curses thrown here and there.
Yeah, maybe
it was different. I don't know. I liked it. It was different.
It was written by someone who was young, I think, and that's kind of the point.
Maybe.
But anyway,
fucking child.
I find Dan's points interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I find Dan's choice of words interesting because I feel kind of the same way, where I like the story and I think it's clever and I think it's fun and I think it's unique. But I also, there's something that doesn't grab me.
It, right?
I don't know. And I think maybe here's a little here's a thought. Like maybe it's too inclusive. Maybe it's hard to relate to it. Maybe it's the fact that you don't care about the characters as much, or maybe it's that.
No, because all of these stories all the stories that we read are like self-contained. I don't think it's that. I don't know. I got to think about it more. I just can't put my finger on why.
No, I feel the same way. There is something... I've always liked this story, but it's never been one of my favorites for some reason.
Right.
I've always kind of forget about this one. I think it's well written enough for a lot of people to like it, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody said I really like the story a lot.
Right.
And that's just all I have to say on it.
There's just something about it.
It might be inclusiveness, I think. That could be it. I'm not sure.
Who knows?
All right. Well, this has been Scare Your Friends, so join us in the next one. You know, we keep making jokes about this, but please do consider subscribing, liking, and commenting especially. I love reading your comments. It really helps me out. You know, so just consider doing that. And I will see you in the next one. This has been Skillfully, and this has been Dan, Nate, Dylan, and William. Signing off for all Goatmens out there. Good night, everybody.
Goatman strong.
The story is actually under a guise of like being hard right propaganda for guns.
Oh my god!
I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. So.
Do you think?
Thank you for not.
Do you think the Goatman supports gun rights?
Maybe if you asked him, you'd find out.
Probably not, because somebody fucking shot him.
You people.
I'm sweaty.
Yeah, me
Same.
too.
It's gross in here.
You think you're gross?
No, I think you're gross.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know who I think is gross? Those fucking people that were scared of the Goatman.
I'm sweating on my shoulders.
Okay.
Shoulders of fitness.
What does that mean?
Didn't think there was a spot to sweat there. It's these two fuckers putting their pits on my goddamn shit. Can we go up for air?
Yeah, let's do that.
God damn it. I can't even get up. I can't.
You're like you're humping with your butt.
I love how Dan's like picking you up pretty much to get you up.
Yeah, I need to get the fuck out of here.
Oh my god.
I need a drink. I really can't wait to read the comments about William's interpretation.
Yeah, my god, it should be fun.
It's on a fucking roll.
Yeah.
Oh man.